The fallen giants are back on their feet.
Hello everyone, welcome to the third ever episode of the 1 to 11 Kits and AFC Kit Geek YouTube channel. This week we are going to be looking at the 1995 to 1996, 96 to 97 Reebok kits. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. First week back at work, back at school. Interesting times, but busy. How about you? Good to see football back. Oh, it's actually good to see football back.
Yeah, that was crazy. One of Liverpool Leeds. For people that don't realise, we sort of record these a week in advance. So it's Sunday night at the moment. I don't know who played today. Everton just beat Spurs, and we've got Sheffield United. Are you nervous? Positive?
Positive. I think some signings seem like they're going to get over the line this week. A few signings. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay again this season. As always, when you get one or two signings, people start thinking, "Oh yeah, we'll be top 10. We'll be top 10." And I think we'll be happy for me.
Yeah, I think just trying to be more comfortable than where we were, that would be great. We were obviously very comfortable in the kits that we're going to be talking about in this week's episode. 2 fifth place finishes, if I'm right.
And European football,
a trophy, a manager who had history with the club, and some great players. When we first think about these Reebok kits, what's the first things that come to your brain just straight off the bat?
I think it's the cup. I think it's the cup win, and it's some of the iconic players still wearing it. So it's York, Southgate, and Young as the back part of the forward. I think the League Cup has to be the first thing that comes to it. And again, these were kids. So when I was growing up, this was a good age for me as a child. It was where I was really getting into football, loving it. And so the kits I had back then. And
another trophy, sort of two in sort of two years. It just felt incredible.
It's just like I've said it a lot of times. It was just you just thought this was going to be it. But the sad thing is, these are the kits where we last won anything.
This is actually the very last one, isn't it? Obviously we got to the final this season, didn't we? And that could have been another pivotal moment. So with the home kits, we obviously had Reebok again. Reebok for the very first time. What's your first impressions of the way Reebok went with their very first kits that start with a home shirt? What do you make of the home shirt?
I liked the embroidery. I liked the sort of the line and the villa bit through it. I like the collar. Collar's nice with a little V sort of bit with the yellow and claret and blue on there. The kits were nice. For a kit that we won a trophy, they don't stand out to me as much as some of the like the 94s does or something. So I like the kits. I'm sort of not sort of wowed by the kits, but I like them. They were nice. They were just that they almost feel a bit safe-ish, apart from the villa bits in the middle. They were like I've looked at before. The Asics one was the stripes were quite different. This was reverting definitely back to a very typical, if you like, Villa shirt with claret body and blue sleeves. This was definitely reverting back
to tradition.
Yeah, back to standards. So they were safe to a degree, I think. But nice. It was a different colour. Like the badge was made slightly different, wasn't it? On the 94s, it was like a felt 3D badge, whereas this one was sort of differently made into. I would say just a nice kit. What about you?
Yes, straight away some of the things that hit me on this. Obviously, the badge is different, isn't it? We've got rather than it being sort of embossed and being bumpy, this one's embroidered in. Is that the right? I think that's the right word, but embroidered into the material. We've gone for a dark blue away kit for 95, 96 that you're fashioning right there, which I think is a beautiful design. It's very minimal, but yet the colours go well with the reds and the blues. It really does well. I like the subtle changes in the fact with the badges on the player versions. So 93 to 94, 94, 90 to 95, these were sort of embroidered and stitched onto the arms, while we find that now they're getting heat pressed on, which is a little bit different. The lettering, again, this is another great point with these kits, is it's the last seasons ever that we see individual lettering, which is a great segue to go on to. I've got a match worn here. He's not very popular at the moment, but I've got a Gareth Southgate match worn here, and we see on there, look, still not Premier League standard lettering, and the badge is still stitch on, which is great.
I mean, yeah, to join into that, mine's exactly the same. Player version, but it's still the unpopular, or currently unpopular Southgate in the back. He was a good player, but he was a good player for us. No getting away from that. He left in dodgy circumstances, going on about how he wanted to leave to a big club and go to Middlesbrough. But when he was first, he was good. He was good.
Well, I think he was a new signing, wasn't he, for the the 95 to 96 season? He was brand new. Paul McGrath was coming towards the end of his career. He still did get to play in this home shirt, but this was the last remnants that we saw of him before he went and moved into Derby. So you had Southgate come, you had Ian Taylor had very much sort of cemented himself in central midfield at this point, and we get a new, two new strikers as well. Well, not two. One's finally come through and really cemented his place and becomes a top scorer in both of the seasons that these Reebok kits were worn. And then you've got another guy as well with more international flavour coming into the Premier League and going throughout it as well. So, who was your favourite out of the two? Was it York or Milosevic?
York was always my hero, and I must have been about 12, 13, and I met him in my local shops. He was just in a little village where I was living, not a townish sort of place I was living, and he was just in the post office. And I remember I had like this little bag of sort of sweets, and I literally just threw the sweets in the bin because it was the only paper I had, and just chased him, chased him down because I met him at one of the soccer schools. But to meet him sort of out and about, being normal, was what I think the first experience I had of meeting a player out and about. So it was York. He was just. I remember the penalty against Arsenal. I think it was the shirt, the following shirt to this season, but the little Panenka penalty he did against Arsenal. Loved Dwight York. Loved him. Thought it was great.
I think, but both incredible players, both proper strikers. One could do, both could do spectacular things, and you see some great long range shots, and both big players, powerful players, just like proper 90s strikers. Wearing long sleeves and wearing shirts that are massively baggy. But yeah, I loved them both. We had Townsend as well, didn't we? And Steve Staunton, and Bosnich had really cemented himself at this point as the number one. And I don't know if Spink had just retired or literally was on the edge of retiring. You might be able to remember a little bit better than me.
I think had he already retired at that point? Not sure he made it.
Yeah, maybe the end of the 94, 95 season is probably like his last one, wasn't it? And
near up front, he was always getting a sort of grief for not being the best finisher, and obviously the best way he took to silence them was an absolute rocket for the opening goal in the cup final. But he always got a raw deal. I don't think we necessarily saw the best of him, but he always very much looked down upon by fans. He was very much picked on, wasn't he, by fans? They were first on his back, but I still always remember for that goal in the final.
Expectance level was a lot higher than it is at the moment, and I'm sure we would love a player of his quality right now in the squad. Compared to some of the players that we've got nowadays. But we started the season off really, really well, didn't we? We had the league champions Manchester United at home, and what a famous game that is. Do you remember that one? Don't win anything with kids.
Yeah, and then he was the one where we were talking about all our youngsters coming through, and it was back to the old days of you'll never beat anybody. Was it Hansen? Was it Alan Hansen that said it?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and
then we go on to win, and just the start of something, wasn't it? It was the start of Brian Little, because Gregory came in, didn't he? John Gregory was his number two. He later came on to become our manager, but the two of them signed, Brian Little and Gregory, obviously both history with the club as players. So it was always going to be a good start. Almost a little bit like now you got Dean Smith as a Villa fan, but you had Brian Little, who was the next sort of really famous player for us.
Yeah, really famous player, Brian. Yeah,
start for us.
Yeah, I think it's good when we see them people with connections to the club or connections to the area. When I think of Dean Smith, whose dad was a steward, it reminds me similar of like Bobby Robson, whose family was always from Newcastle and stuff like that, and sort of like that coming home sort of era. So yeah, I think it always helps to revitalise the club when you've got someone like that on the as the manager, as the leader of the club. We had a couple of questions come in before we go into the home kit and start to rate that. James on Twitter asks, do you think it matters who makes the shirts? I think which manufacturer makes the shirts, for example, Reebok, etc. Because in his opinion, it's the quality of the material rather than the name on the badge.
Yeah. I think I agree a little bit on that. You are. I was having this debate on Twitter only recently. I think you joined in with it about the Macron shirts and
Yeah.
People. It's they're very love and hate with a lot of some people really like the actual designs. Yourself included, like some designs. I'm not the biggest fan of the designs, but it was the material and the fact that they just saw a washing machine and fell apart. Whereas I'm not sure if that's modern day shirts in general, although the Loop ones don't seem to do that as much.
No.
I think no, I'm not really that, but I don't look for a specific shirt. I often, in fact, look and think if we were glad we're not Nike and Adidas because their prices are even higher. So for me, it's the design they make. The design they make, does it fit well? Is it a nice fit? Does it wash well?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the quality of the actual build and design and quality, I think I've got equal. It looks nice in the pictures and on the players' shirts and stuff, but the same with Kappa. If you wear it once and it falls apart, then it's rubbish, isn't it?
And that's it. I mean, you look back. I mean, Asics now. Like we discussed this a couple of weeks ago, and Asics haven't done anything since. They did a bit in the 90s, but that was it. And yet, there's some of the best kits that I've washed. I talk a lot about it, seem like going on about washing, but it's something that kits again and again. You want something that's going to last because they're not cheap. Kits are not cheap. I mean, the new ones, you look what £80 for the pro version and 57 or something for the standard version. Yeah. They're not cheap.
You get a name set on the back and you get badges. You're looking £100, aren't you?
Yeah. So you want something that's going to last. For me, no, the maker itself doesn't matter. And because we're not as big as we used to be, actually having that big club, they're not really going to the sort of big names. Sorry, they're not really going to be putting it in for you. So Nike, we had Nike, for example, this year. Although they're huge, we're nowhere near their main clients, nowhere near towards the top of who they're thinking. So we're not where they're going to be. We're not where their team's going to be. And so actually, a smaller now. I mean, look at Luke. Look how popular they were. Granted, we got promoted in it, but it was the local shirt manufacturer. It was,
and even when you look at the Nike shirts, they get a lot of praise for the memories and stuff. But that Acorns, it doesn't last long. You wash that slightly hot once, it buggers up that Acorn. So yeah, James, I think we both agree with you. It is not the name that matters. It's the quality of the actual design and the quality of and how long it lasts. Villa Chat. Oh yeah,
so is that design, isn't it as well? That what have they done? Have they done something? Because these actually kits are pretty decent. I like the feel and fit. They didn't. I definitely prefer the away shirt to the home, but they didn't go overboard with their design, and yet they're still pretty sought after the shirts now, aren't they?
Yeah, and really, really, really well made. I have to say that about these Reebok kits. The Reebok kits are really well made. They might need a little bit of linting every now and again, and the collars turn up a little bit, but they rarely fall apart unless you wash them at really high temperatures and really not looking after them. Villa Chat says, if you could pick one Villa kit to own from during the 90s, so you're only allowed one, John, one Villa kit from the whole of the 90s, Aston Villa, which one would you pick?
So later bit, so we discussed this briefly before we came on. Now, the 90s is absolutely the era of Villa shirts. It is of all the decades to pick. Like the struggle to pick is the 90s. You go to any other decade, and I think I've got a standout shirt. The 90s, you've got the green and black Muller. You've got the blue claret stripe and white away shirt from the next year we had AST. We've got the home from the 94. There's just so many amazing shirts, but I've gone with this one. So I've gone with this, which I don't even know why. It's just always one as a child that I look back and remember and go, this was a great shirt. This was a shirt this was different. This was completely different.
It is different.
The big stamp of the badge across it, keeping a bit of the claret with Umbro across it, collar with the claret and blue collar. It was just different. It was just
even the size of the actual Umbro. Not a massively well-known fact, but the Umbro I think goes from lowercase to capital letters that season. So it's the first season that gets capital letters on the Umbro, which is a bit geeky. But yeah, that's a class shirt. That's a great pick, mate.
So what are you picking? Because that's one of the hardest questions I've ever had.
It is a really hard question. I'm gonna go with this one.
Wow. Not what I expected. It's not what I expected to pick.
The more and more I keep seeing this shirt, the more and more I keep loving the design. It's very tough. It's between this or the rainbow kit. But goalkeeper kits, they're on another level design front. And because, I don't remember a lot of the 90s. I remember from sort of 98 onwards, then it's the design I have to look to as much as possible because I don't have that same nostalgia. And the design on this is incredible. The same as the rainbow kit. It's between one of them. It's a bit of a cop-out answer. Because it's between two, but I think I'm going to go with my gut. It might change next week or the week after when I get a new shirt, but this week I would pick this one.
See, I forgot and discounted the goalkeeper kits. That they're not. I purposely don't collect them because I go bankrupt. But the rainbow kit is obviously a kit that's up there. It's so hard to choose. It would change the away from the following year. The white and blue and claret. The away is.
Depends on your mood, doesn't it? You can change 2 or 3 times within a week. That is one of the toughest questions possible. What's the favourite kit in the 90s? It's a lot easier if you put it into favourite home or favourite goalkeeper or favourite third, or favourite away. So we'll go back to the home shirt. We've gone through the lettering. We've gone through Reebok. We've gone through the general design. What do you remember of AST? What did they do back in the 90s?
I don't remember them other than being our sponsor. Obviously, we had them for a few years. I don't remember anything about them apart from the fact they're our sponsors. And just, I don't remember them being anything apart from our sponsors. I like them. Again, it was a sponsor that would come to your head. So it would be Mitre Copiers, it would be Muller, and it would be AST Computers. It would just spring to head when I used to think about Villa and shirts and sponsors. But I didn't really know much about the company. It was definitely wear shirt. I was wearing shirts a lot. I was the kid that was in the full kit whenever I could, and playing in a garden full kit whenever I could. So it's definitely a shirt that was good memories.
Well, I've got it as well without the AST, so it'd be interesting to see which one people prefer, the AST or the non-AST. I'm going to guess most people will go with the.
I'm always a sponsor person because some people, like I know a collector on Twitter who likes to find as many sponsorless versions as possible. But I think that the sponsor is part of the shirt. It's part of what the shirt is. So you almost need it on there. The sample ones like that are interesting, and sometimes you get the kits that have the sponsor from the previous year while they're testing out them, don't they? So
yeah, that is a good point. There is hopefully you'll be able to find this and pop this in. But I remember when they were first shooting this kit. There's a photo with I can't remember his name, but he's got this shirt with Muller on the front.
Oh yeah, I've seen that picture somewhere.
Yeah. Who is it? Ginger hair.
It's Tommy Johnson.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Tommy Johnson. He's wearing it with Muller on instead.
Tommy Johnson.
Matt. And then you've got 2 different size labels as well, don't you? You've got. Do you want to talk through the size labels and what's the difference is if someone sees the shirt and they see it with a different size label, or what 2 types of size labels there are and what they mean?
In terms of this one here,
yeah.
So the replica, is my understanding. This is where you might correct me. The replica, is my understanding, has the numbered, so the 42, 44, so the large that this one is. And the players ones, as far as I'm aware, were is that right? There was the small, medium, and large in there.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, most of the time it'd be XL if it's players, but yeah, they will say the size as like an actual size.
And the lettering as well was different, wasn't it? So mine's got the ones that you got in the players shop had Reebok printed into it.
Yeah.
Whereas I know the players didn't have that, and that was again from people who started sort of researching kits a bit more, or something that I realised that actually I just assumed that players had Reebok on. It was only sort of recently where I sort of looked into it and realised that they did. It was just the ones in the kit shops that did have it.
We've got the League Cup version of this one as well, which I'm sure you'll be able to find another photo, probably one of Dave's. So thank you, Dave, for letting us use your photos. If you guys aren't already, go and check out www.astonvillashirts.co.uk and you'll see Dave's website with all of his wonderful, wonderful shirts. So yeah, we've got the League Cup final version as well. What's your biggest memories of that day?
Again, it was similar to '94. It was a big family event. I remember watching it, and I think it was at the point where I was expecting us to win. Like I went into us thinking we were winning because the last cup final I saw us win. We didn't get there in as dramatic a fashion as we did in '94 with the Tranmere stuff, but
no,
we just sort of made our way there, and actually you settled down quite quickly. From memory, again, memory's always a bit hazy when you look back. So I haven't really watched that game, obviously. Milosevic's goal relatively early on sort of settled the nerves, and an absolute sort of thunderbolt that was into the top corner. That sort of settled the nerves down. And from memory, I thought it was quite a comfortable game. Again, I was still relatively young at that age. I say relatively young. I was what? So 96. I was 12. So
3-0 is a relatively comfortable result in a final, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, from what I sort of remember from watching the highlights, Leeds seem to tire. You know, they're chasing the game, and that opens it up and opens the space. Being a cup final, they've got to go and try and get that equaliser, and that plays into our hands, and we're able to really capitalise and be clever. And we get, you know, Ian Taylor scores, doesn't he?
Yeah, left foot volley. I've heard him talk about it, and I was speaking to him about it. And he said the euphoria of that is just crazy, and on his weaker foot, it just comes to. It's just he said it was instinctive, just to swing a leg.
Yeah.
Left foot volley, bottom corner, and then York's was the other side of the bar, if I remember rightly, just a sort of sweeps it in on the side of the bar, and 3-0 come for win, and this is it. We would win trophies every other year, but it looks things that's what we did.
But even that, you know, being a not homegrown player, but a home, like it's your boyhood club who you supported as a kid, to go then and score in the cup final. Imagine what that must feel like.
I just don't know. I have asked him that question though. What is it like? And he said he said it's not able to describe it. You just can't. I did it when for the Villa View, and I played in the game, and there was nobody in the ground, and we had a penalty shootout, and I put it in. Even that was literally nobody in the entire stadium, and you roll it in. It's the feeling's amazing. So the cup final, that volley, it just must be crazy. This must be absolutely crazy.
Mad. And Brian Little gets his, you know, come and had success with us as a player, and then again as a manager comes and brings success to the Villa faithful. I've met him; he's such a nice guy, isn't he?
He's lovely. He's really. He's always got time for everybody. I've had a couple of chats again. So
Yeah.
the events I've had chats with him, and he just stands and talks to you. He's just clearly loves football. Just clearly, absolutely loves football.
Humble, incredibly nice guy.
Yeah, really nice, and still sad that it's the last trophy.
Yeah,
Annoys me every time I hear it that we talk about this. 96 or 12, 13, and that's the last time we won anything. And I'm now obviously a few years older.
we've had opportunities. We've had plenty of opportunities to remedy that, but you know, we've not been able to get over the final line. But I think this is a good opportunity to celebrate the fact that we did, didn't we? And not everyone, you know, most 90 odd clubs in the Football League got nowhere near the trophy cabinet that we have, and we can still take a lot of pride in what we've been able to achieve. Do you want to go on to the awake it then?
Yeah.
No. Should we rate this one first?
Yeah. Okay. We'll rate. Yeah. Other than the label on the player version and the badges, the name sets, is there any other difference? There's no fit difference, is there, in terms of?
No, not really. I think underneath the actual badge on the player ones, so underneath there, it's like a little bit more padded and a little bit more protected. And I'm pretty sure that the AST is a little bit thicker and just stuck on a little bit better. But I think that's the only real difference. Nothing like this is sort of like the end now of real differences in player to regular versions. You know, when we compare that to Muller or Umbro before that. There is still versions in terms of like the fontage and the players and the way the numbers are stitched, but other than that, really, we're losing the art of player to commercial differences. There's some obviously differences along the way in the future, a little Under Armour and little bits and bobs, but nothing like what we saw previous to that. So, what are you going to give this one out of 10, John?
I would give it a 7. I like the shirt. Like I said, I like it. I just don't think it's not a standout shirt for me. It's a nice shirt, and I'll always look back with that fondness because the cup and the players in there, and sort of as a youngster watching it. But it's just as a part. If you took out the only thing that really saves it for me is the bit where it says the Villa and the line written in there. Other than that, it's pretty standard in my opinion as you get. Really, it's just solid claret, solid blue sleeves, and it's just a standard shirt for me. It's not a horrible shirt. It's not an amazing one. The home one for me is about a 7. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go for an 8 out of 10. I like the home shirt. I like the fit. Obviously, it's got a great big collar. I love a big collar.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's got that throwback to sort of like our heritage with the the humble beginnings of Scotland and stuff like that with the lions in the material. So yeah, it's a lovely shirt to wear as well. So yeah, I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's nice.
We will go on to the away shirt of that season, 1995 to 96. It gets a bit confusing because this blue shirt that you're fashioning now also gets used the season after as the third shirt.
There's a lot of
Yeah, it does get confusing. So, to be clear, the away shirt in 95 to 96 and the third shirt in 96 to 97.
Yeah.
And again, very, very similar, isn't it, to the home shirt?
Yeah. This is not, just identical template, just the changing colours, isn't it?
Yeah, there is, yeah.
But I much prefer the away. I don't know. I don't know if it's just a childhood thing. I don't know if it's just a memory thing, but I prefer. I think I prefer the lettering. The print on the back is a nicer.
Got Mark Draper on that one.
And is that another match one?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he signed this one, and it's got the embroidered on again.
So yeah, I like the blue shirt. Again, you look from the craziness of the previous year's shirt. It was always going to be a lot to do with the green, black, and the red one to change completely, because obviously that was such an iconic shirt and such a different shirt that it was always going to be a challenge for Reebok to do something that was still liked. I wasn't old enough to remember how this was received, but looking back, I like it as a shirt. It's one that that I don't see as much when I used to obviously go over into the apartment. You could go in. It wasn't a shirt. You see obviously lots and lots of replicas. It's not a shirt that I often see people wearing. In fairness,
no, and it's a great shirt, isn't it? I've got a lot of pictures come to mind straight to me of like nighttime games with like Dwight York with like he'd always have them like tight things under his shorts. Just iconic images again of this shirt being worn. I can't remember. I can't remember as well off the top of my head. We haven't really had many dark blue away shirts as well. So in that respect, it was quite a new away colour for us.
Yeah. I was thinking then when you're talking about. I can't remember what it was, but you reminded me of that when you look at Dwight York in the night games, and actually how much I like the shorts of the away kit as well. They're sort of a lighter blue, almost match were they this colour? Sort of match the badge on them. Those shorts,
and they had the lines in, didn't they? They had the lines all the way down.
Would be shorts I would look to get. Not really a shorts collector, but those ones were nice. Those shorts were nice.
Yeah, great shirts. Do you want to rate this one as well, and then we'll go on to the third kit?
This one is. I would put this a little higher, 7.5 on the blue one.
On the away blue, 7.5. I think I'll give you the same. I think it's going to be a 7.5 as well.
So you prefer the home over the away?
I do for this one, yeah. I think just the scenes of obviously winning the cup final and stuff in it as well. I do love both shirts. You can't really go wrong with either of them. I just prefer the home shirt for this particular season. But both great shirts, and there's really not much between them.
No, well they're so similar.
They are. Yeah. We get a few changes now, so I'll go grab the away shirt. So this comes out the season after. And then, notably straight away, I see we've got a Reebok sign now under the actual Reebok.
And the font's usually, isn't it?
The actual material, everything that's made, this is embroidered in rather than like something that's heat pressed on. And the collar's different on this one as well. Not only slightly, but it is different.
Yeah, it's a nice shirt, isn't it? That I like. What away shirt always worked well.
Otherwise, other than that, it's pretty much the same. They've got the AST in blue, which I think is a nice touch as well. Do you have any particular memories of the white shirt? Any games or goals?
There's only one, but it wasn't. Obviously, it was the season when it was the third shirt, the UEFA game. Still, I think probably the best atmosphere I've ever been in was the Atletico Madrid game. I remember it as really vividly. I remember sitting right at the back of the upper hole and Collymore smash it. I just don't remember a noise as loud as that goal, and people sort of talk about it now. I saw Ian Taylor tweet about it only recently about how much the atmosphere was, but it was absolutely incredible under the lights and an absolute screamer goal. Sadly, we still went out, but that was it. That if I remember going to have a memory from when I was younger, going to games, it was in that shirt where we played at home in the white shirt against Real Madrid, and an absolute just rocket top corner. And just remember being like a 13, 14-year-old in this hot and going absolutely crazy, thinking this is mad. Absolutely.
This is incredible.
Yeah, carnage. So just that one.
Yeah. No, I think it's interesting. Obviously, the Reebok on the European ones is slightly different, isn't it? We don't have because of European regulations, they had to change that. It couldn't be with Reebok. It's only got the actual symbol. Then the AST is slightly just a tiny bit smaller as well. But no, I love these shirts. The name font on this one is absolutely this is the actual real last time that we ever get a font like this, and it's incredible, isn't it?
That's the best one in my opinion. Is this one? Is the different lettering? It's the best of the three. The claret and blue lettering. It's just I've tried so hard with you and other people to try and get that to be printed on, and it's just proving so difficult. It's so rare, isn't it? Just so I don't know what's making it to get reprinted, but it's one I've got my shirt ready to print as soon as it can be done. But
it's detailed as well, isn't it? And then obviously the one, as you said, the same as the in-store version. This is a match prepared version, but Phil King never made an appearance in this. But yeah, it has like the same again. I think it's got like a little line in there, hasn't it?
Yeah, the line on it.
Yeah,
but that lettering is probably the best lettering because it's just claret and blue, isn't it? Like claret and blue on a white shirt is just
amazing. This is just a claret and blue that goes with the collar and goes with the blue trims on the sleeves. But yeah, it really that is a font that just absolutely works. And if the Premier League if there's ever an argument to make teams be able to make their own lettering again, that's a perfect argument just to show the Premier League that, and just say, look, let the manufacturers roll with it, because it creates some incredible designs and really makes shirts unique, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was it just works, doesn't it? Everything with a real nice white shirt, claret and blue on there. It's by far the best font that I've got and I've seen on a Villa shirt. And like I said, anybody watching this who knows how to get that printed, please let me know, because I'm desperate to have my one printed with the claret and blue lettering on it.
And then, what would you rate this one out of 10?
I can get carried away quite quickly with the font, as I'm sure it's become apparent. But in terms of a shirt, again, it's still only sort of a 7.5 for me, slightly better than the home. It's not sort of out there enough. It's got the game that I remember really well. It's got the really, really, really good lettering, but it's not any better than the other Reebok ones. I don't think. It's just yeah, it's a nice shirt. But what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with an 8. Everyone loves a white away shirt for Aston Villa, don't they? And that lettering is amazing. You know, they brought it back again, didn't they, for the third kit the season after? Just like the blue became the third kit in 96 to 97, the white kit becomes the third kit in 97 to 98. And yeah, the different lettering styles, Premier League lettering, European lettering with just black, and then this one as well. They're really cool features and make it stand out in my memory as one of the better away kits that we've ever had.
Yeah, it is a nice one. White shirt. I mean, obviously, when we get further down the line, we've got the Under Armour whites. There's 2 of those unreleased that came out that looked with a really nice shirts. We've obviously got the unicorn white shirt, mother shirt. They just seem to like a third shirt. I'm trying to think if there's any sort of away shirts that have ended up being white. They're often the third, aren't they, that are bought out is the.
I'm thinking of I can think of quite a few. I think all the way up until the sort of 80s, the majority of the time our away shirt was always white, wasn't it? Like historically, with we got the pinstripes in the 1982 away, and then you see yellow sometimes as the away shirt. But I think historically, if you checked all of our colours of away shirts that we've ever had, I think it probably will be like out of the 100 years that we've been, 90 or 80 or 90 years of them, it's probably been just a plain white away shirt. So yeah, it's another great kit, and how much should people be paying for these? Do you think?
These are still quite expensive, aren't they?
Without name and numbering, just the shirt.
without naming a number, so obviously you're way better placed than I am, but I would still say you're looking at north of £50 for both of these, probably maybe £60. Definitely with the name set is more. But I would say with that one, you're looking at, I would say 55 plus. Is that about right? And your pricing about 55 plus? I think maybe a bit more.
Yeah, I think usually if it's if it's small, medium, or large, it's always going to be slightly higher, and I do usually do them about 60, depending on the condition. That's probably the most I would ever put them up for. So if they're really good condition, I put them up for 60 with no names and no patches. If they were less of condition, then the price would be reflected accordingly. If it's extra large or double XLs, they're always harder to sell, so you have to price them at 55 to 50. Anyone that's looking for north of that without names or numbering or letter and patches, if it's not brand new with tags, just don't pay it.
Yeah, if it's not got the name set on, the name set is what the name set really on all of these two shirts is what makes it, I think, a better shirt. Without any doubt, a decent name set is on these ones. It's not so as doesn't make as big an impact on many other shirts as it does on this set of shirts, because even on the Asics ones before, they were just white shirts with Asics printed on there. They're quite easy to get sort of post printed and what. But these are a different brand, aren't they? Different creature altogether that they're printing on these. So just be careful people trying to take advantage of these shirts price wise. But I always go by Shaun. If you're looking for a price, always by Shaun.
Yeah. Or even if I'm not selling them, just ask me and I'll try and put you into where someone is or a good price. That's not a problem. Collector first, hobby seller second. Definitely, all the shirts that I sell, it's only really to help fund my collection and not really to make money off. So we go on to the goalkeeper kits, the madman between the sticks, the Australian goalkeeper Mark Bosnich.
Well, yeah, and they must have just said, you know what, we've got an Australian in goal. We're going to make a kit in his honour. Bring out the Australian colours, yellow and green, for that kit. There's that thinking behind it by that. There can't be any other thinking than we might as well pay homage to who's going to be the number one.
Yeah, I don't think I've even seen this kit in another template on another team. I'm trying to think now if anyone else had it. If anyone else did have it, leave it in the comments because I'd like to go and see that. But yeah, they've got for the 96 to 97 goalkeeper kit. It is the yellow and green one, isn't it? I'll go grab it. I love the collar on this.
Yeah, the colours are all the same, aren't they? In those kits, the goalkeeper kit. Yeah. There's no way they've done anything else than thought. Do you know what? We've got an Australian in goal. We're going to go for an Australian kit. I can't see any other reasoning for that kit.
What you definitely don't do with this kit which is what I did, is wear it to Villa Park when you're playing Norwich. You get some really funny looks.
That was a bad decision.
Yeah, I didn't think till I got there, and people kept tapping on the shoulder, and they'd turn around and be like, "Oh, I forgot about that goalkeeper kit." People actually thought I was wearing a Norwich shirt, but yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? I love this one. But we'll go to the ones from the season before first. Before we rate that, we've got the grey. I don't have the grey on me at the moment, but the grey and the turquoise. I call them tortoise shell kits.
Yeah, I can see why. Fond memories of that shirt. When I was playing football, I randomly ended up in goal. For some reason went in goal for a cup game. We had a penalty shootout and I saved 3, and I ended up being the goalkeeper the following season.
Wow.
And our team didn't have goalkeeper shirts, so I bought that one as that was the time. So I played in goal in that one. So I loved that kit. That shirt is of sentimental shirts. That would be up there because it was one I actually played in. Obviously not a bit, but I played in.
Did it come with the number already in?
No, it didn't have a number on it. But again, that's got the Reebok one on. But that shirt was I've only got fond memories of it because it was one I played in. Other than that, the goalkeeper shirts didn't really stand sort of. And I think the collar was nice on it, and it's still when they had padding on it, isn't it? Because obviously nowadays they don't have the padding on, but it was still when they had an elbow and. Yeah,
it reminds me a bit like armour, doesn't it? It's a bit like armour. The fact it's not all the way connected. He's just got some padding down here, all this stretching material here, and then padding up here. So I'm guessing he would have had the Bosnich. He didn't wear this one. This one's just a commercial one, shot put one. But he would have had the patches maybe on the black. or would you have had them up on the blue?
I don't think I remember an image of it. I'll try and find one for the video. But I think it would have been on the black part of it. But yeah, big sentimental reasons just for that shirt. What about you? 'Cause for me, they're just shirts.
Yeah, I like both designs. They are different. 90s keepers kits, doesn't matter what team you look at. It doesn't matter, what country you go to. 90s keeper kits are absolutely crazy, aren't they? There's one in, I think it's a Boca Juniors or an Argentina kit, and it's like a truck, and it's got the goalkeeper driving a truck on his actual goalkeeper kit. I'll try and send a link so you can put it in the photo now for people to be able to see while we're talking. But yeah, 90s goalkeeper kits are absolutely crazy, aren't they? And this one is just another example. It makes him look like a lizard man. Do you know what I mean? Like a lizard armor man. That's what I think in my head. Yeah, it's a good design. It's probably not a goalkeeper kit that I'd design if I designed a goalkeeper kit, but it is a good design nonetheless. I love the Reebok up here. This just absolutely screams 90s.
Colour was nice on it. It looks like 90s keepers kit. They just had free reign to just throw anything out they liked.
Yeah.
Like.
I think, that's probably made on Microsoft Paint, Windows 94, 95 or something like that. And they've just gone on Paint and just created that. But yeah. So what are you going to rate the... Should we do the blue and the grey as separate, as the same rating, or would you give them separate ratings?
For me, I would just do the same rating, looking at the almost identical. Well, they are identical, aren't they? Like the home and away.
Yeah.
I would go the 7. It brings it up for me because of sentimental reasons, but a zany shirt. But again, not one that sticks in the memories. It's not one that you see people clamoring after to get. They are expensive just because there's not that many of them compared to player ones, but it's not like, obviously nowhere near the rainbow one. It's just not.
Nowhere. There is a lot of expensive ones, in my opinion, expensive ones of these two or these three particular kits. People charging like £80-90. If you can get one for £60, then I think you're doing a really, really good job. But the prices, as we spoke about before, have exploded over the past 18 months. I would have found this 18 months ago for £30-40, but you just find it too hard with so many people being interested in. Well, obviously, our recent success as well, being back in the Premier League, and the interest in retro kits always getting bigger and bigger all the time. So yeah, that's the sort of prices. I'd say a 7 as well. It's a middle of the road goalkeeper kit. It's not the best one. It's nothing like the Muller. The whole Muller range was amazing. But yeah, it's still a good one. And then I think I prefer this one a little bit more. I don't know about you.
I think just because it is that weirdness, it is just that they've actually put thought into it about who their keeper is. I mean, bold move if he'd left, as they've got the designs for him. But I think it's just a bit different. I randomly have the short for that kit. I don't have the kit at the top itself, but I randomly have the shorts that go with it.
And again, the name set. I don't have a name set on this one, but the name set on this one was the same font as the King one that I showed you, but green, and that was incredible, wasn't it? With Bosnich or Oaks. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to put this one a little bit higher. I'll go first with this one. I'm going to put this one as a 7.5.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's just that different design, 7.5, and that's just... Has that got the padding on it? I don't think it has it, compared to the...
No, this one doesn't have the padding. The collar's the same, and it's got 2 big stripes, but there's no padding. But at least it's long sleeve. I got a Nyland's kit, Kappa Black one from last season, the match worn one, and you just don't even get them in long sleeves anymore. So, John, it's been great to speak to you about these Reebok kits. It's a pleasure as always. Is there anything you'd like people to come back with before our next episode?
I think we've almost picked our sort of 3 favourite-ish sort of ones, haven't we, to start with? So it'd be interesting to see what shirts you would like to what season of shirts you'd like us to review. So either on Twitter, on Instagram, or in the comments on here. After you've obviously liked and subscribed, if you can say which season of shirts would you like us next to have a go at.
I think that's a brilliant idea. Yeah, comment in below with which kits you'd like for us to make a video on, and we'll do our absolute best. Thanks again to John for joining me. Incredible as always, mate. Thank you so much. Thanks to Dave for the photos, and thank you most of all for you guys for watching and giving us your 40 minutes or 30 minutes of your time once every 2 weeks. So from me, up the Villa.
And from me, up the Villa. See you soon.